Hi guys, Chris here at Purely Outdoors and a brand new exciting 2025 awning from Dometic on review today. This is the Residence Air Tour, a new classic and the latest full awning in their caravan awning range. So what's changed from the all season version? So the Residence all season has been out now a couple of years. It's been very well received for those seasonally pitched caravanners who wanted an air equivalent to maybe an Isabella pole awning that they can quickly erect on site, and it's going to give them all that breathability that they need. Whereas actually a touring caravanner doesn't actually need all of those aspects. They need a fabric that's much lighter, that can be put up and down multiple times throughout the season, and that's where this new tour Residence was derived from. So what we see is a few subtle changes from the all-season model, and now I think it's very nice that the Dometic range is segmented from a full awning perspective between seasonal and touring. So we're going to jump through the key exterior and interior features as we go through the video, but I think it's worth just mentioning that the overall sizing and dimensions of this Residence Air Tour. So it maintains that 2.75 meters deep, and it starts from a size 11 through to a size 16. So it's tended to stay at those smaller caravan sizes because they're your most popular touring caravans. We see the larger sizes and larger vehicles more suited to a seasonal pitch. And what we see is this really timeless design. It very much mirrors the club porch awning model from Dometic that's very popular, and they've kept that sort of design. They've kept the same depth as that club model, and I think it looks really, really sharp on the campsite. So we're going to jump straight into the exterior features now and run through those. Okay guys, so an abundance of exterior features to get through, and we're going to start with the main characteristic, which is the fabric. So the all-season fabric, very, very popular for that seasonal use. The downside of that, it is very heavy, so not ideal for touring. So that's why they've brought in this new tour fabric that we see coming into the new porch awning range from Dometic for 2025. They've also used this on this Residence model here. So main qualities of this tour fabric is the weight saving. So if you take a size 15 Residence all season, that'll weigh in total around 55 kg. Whereas this tour version, it's around the mid 30s. So you're saving around 15 kg of weight, which is obviously ideal for when you're pitching it multiple times throughout the year. It's a great weight saving from that perspective. Not only that, the bag is split between two bags itself, so you'll have the main structure in the larger bag and all of your panels in a separate bag, so you can split the weight even more so from that perspective on this model. But what we see from this new tour fabric is they've maintained the 300 denier, which you also get in the all-season version. So you've got all that waterproofing, all of that ruggedness in the fabric, but actually we get the weight saving and we get more durability. So they've added a ripstop weave to this tour fabric, so it means you're going to get less tearing potential in high winds, and you've also got a dope dyeing process. So that means the colour retention is second to none. It means that that colour goes the whole way through the fibre, and it's going to look a lot fresher for a lot longer. And I think as well, in this lovely contemporary light grey and black colour, it really stands out and it looks a lot more modern compared to other models on the market. Okay, now we've ran through the fabric, we'll talk about inflation system. So the inflation system is single point inflation, and Dometic use their super sized beams on both the Residence Tour and the Residence All Season. Reason for that is you've got a lot more fabric compared to a porch awning model, so you need those much greater diameter to beams to be able to use with that weightier fabric. So in terms of how we inflate it, it's the single point from this center beam here. So it comes with the Gale 12 volt pump as standard. So it's literally a case of putting in that Gale pump, setting the PSI to 11, and up it goes. So we timed it in the showroom when we were pitching this model. It was around 7 to 8 minutes. So really quick inflation time. And then from a deflation perspective, you've got the deflation valves on each of the 3 beams, and then you can get that air out really nice and easy. So a fantastic inflation system. Dometic really have been the pioneers in that sort of single point inflation system now for around the last 10 years, and I think they've really nailed it on this model. Next of all, we'll talk about this new feature which I absolutely love, which is the 3-sided canopy. So on the previous all-season Residence, we had this nice canopy area at the front, as you can see here. But what they've done on this new tour model, and we'll take a few shots as we pan round, they've done a 3-sided version. So you get this really nice integrated air beam canopy that I think adds that little bit of rain guttering. So in the worst weather conditions, you're going to get the rainwater running off that canopy, and it just gives you that little bit of extra shade as you're entering and exiting the awning itself. So really nice feature. Another key feature that we see on this is ventilation. So one of the slight downsides to this fabric is the breathability aspect. Obviously what you gain in the all season version is you have all that breathability. Because this one's touring, you don't. So what we need on this awning is a lot of ventilation, and that's exactly what Dometic have done here. So we've got the 2 corner vents, we've got the center vents here, we've also got apex ventilation in the 2 top corners, and we've got an abundance of mesh on the 2 side panels. So it's really going to allow that breathability in the awning, but it's going to prevent all the bugs coming in. So a really nice touch from Dometic there. And they've also thought about that condensation aspect because of the breathability of the fabric, and they're including a free waterproof ground sheet and a roof liner as standard. So they've really combated that, and I think it'll make the awning a really nice climatic place to be in. Okay, now we talk about some other key features, and a new one that I love is this new sabre lighting on the exterior of the awning. So normally the sabre points are only kept for the interior, which is great. You get a nice well-lit interior space, but I think having these just in the porch area, especially at night times on the campsite, it's gonna look really, really sharp. Some other slight tweaks as well. They've changed their guy system. So instead of using a coloured guy, we had like a lime green on the old Weathershield Pro model. They've switched to this lighter grey to blend it into the fabric a lot more, and it's looking really, really sharp. We're going to now take a look inside and talk through some of the key interior changes. Okay, so we're taking a step inside the residence tour now, and I think the first thing to note is how spacious and how airy it feels. So with this lovely light grey fabric that we've got on the main structure of the awning and the roof, it really allows that light to come in. We've got these lovely window panels and skylights as well. It just gives that real feel of space, and that's exactly what you want from a full awning. Let's talk about some of the main aspects that we see on this interior. And I think we'll start with the functionality of it. So you've got 2 doorway options on the front. So you can see I went through the doorway here that we've rolled back, and it just gives you that really nice opening. You can have that on either of the 2 front panels, and then you can also decide on how you want your entrance and exit from the side perspective of the awning. So we've chosen to put the mesh panel in here on this side. So you can see again, we've got all that lovely airflow coming in. That can be zip closed as well. So if you then want the privacy, you can curtain that up really nicely. What we've then got on this side is we've chosen this one to be our side opening. So you can roll back again the doorway to get that nice opening. The great thing is these sides are interchangeable, so you can decide which setup works best for you. There's 2 side panels as well, can be fully zipped out, so you can add the residence tour annex. So it's a really nice, well-heighted annex. So it gives you loads of head height for storage and sleeping. Comes included with a bedroom inner that can be clipped in and out. That's a really nice option if you want to segment an area of the awning for just storage or just sleeping. You've got the option there with the tour annex. Some other key changes that we see from the all-season model is a redesign of the windows, and this is one of my favourite changes they've made, because the previous porch awning range from Dometic always had a fabric strip that sort of split the window panel. Great thing what we see now is a floor-to-ceiling PVC window. And the great thing with that is it gives you that vista view. You've got a lot cleaner view out to the campsite, and I think it looks a lot more modern compared to that previous design. To complement that, we see another change in the curtains. So they've dropped the cream pattern style curtains that were quite awkward to get attached. They've made that process a lot slicker, and we now see this really nice soft touch, cotton, grey, very modern curtain that looks really, really smart. So I really like that change they've made. And I think while we're here as well, you can really get a perspective on these super-sized beams. So you can just see how firm they are, and they're really going to support that fabric really nicely. As we mentioned previously, you've got your mesh panels that you can close up really nicely there on the front. And we also mentioned the sabre from an exterior perspective, the sabre lighting. But you can see that on all of these air beams, we have these lovely little Velcro tabs. And you can join up these sabre lighting strips to really give that feel at night that you've got a really nice well-lit space. So a lovely, lovely sort of addition there from Dometic. They really are the masters at how you can tailor that awning, and we'll run through some of the key other interior features now. While we're here, you can see we've attached the veranda storm pole, so a very, very clever accessory. Because you've got a full awning, because there's more weight, we want to make sure it's fully braced in all weather conditions. So when it gets a little bit windier, you've got the ability to add these storm poles in basically 3 points on this main horizontal beam on the awning. But then you can take it out, and what I love now is that it can then change to become a veranda pole. So we can click these in here. You can literally, because it's telescopic, you can get it straight in there, and then we can simply zip out this panel, drop it down to half height, and again it really just helps with getting that airflow into the awning. So really, really clever accessory there from Dometic. Some other ones to note that might be worth purchasing alongside is the mesh panel set. So you can zip out these two front panels completely and insert complete full floor to ceiling mesh panel. Again, just really helps with that airflow in the summer months when it's really hot, lets that breeze come in, but you're stopping any bugs coming in as well. So really, really nice addition. And then underfoot, obviously, as we mentioned before, you get the waterproofed footprint, but you can also buy the continental carpet that's made to measure for the size of the awning. That sits on top and it gives that lovely homely feel underfoot. While we're here, we'll just quickly mention about how it attaches to your caravan itself. So unlike a porch awning, which is very much dictated on the straight rail length of the caravan, where you have to decide where you want it positioned, with the great benefit of a full awning is that obviously it covers the complete sea rail channel on your caravan. So you haven't got any worry about trying to seal it, stopping any breeze coming in or pets trying to escape. You've got that full locked in feel to the awning. And obviously it's maximising that full length of your caravan. So I think for larger families, as we mentioned before, this one's really definitely a model to look at, because you're not only getting all of this space, but you're getting now a much lighter touring awning. And with the price point coming down compared to the Residence All Season, it's actually a very, very good package now that you're getting from Dometic on this awning. So we'll take a walk back through and we'll just conclude on the Residence Tour. Okay guys, so in summary, this Residence Air Tour I think is an absolute showstopper of a full awning. I'm so pleased that we now see in the Dometic range a very clear segmentation between the all-season Residence and this new Tour Residence. I think you've got it now catered for that seasonally sighted pitch, that touring caravanner really nicely, and I think with this change in fabric, going to this ripstop, much lighter contemporary feel, complemented with that super-sized single-point inflation air beam system, I think it really is a winner of an awning, to be honest. I think now at that lower price point as well, the lower weight that we see on this touring version, with the new changes that put in with this three-sided canopy, exterior saber lighting points, they've really, really thought about this one. And I think it's definitely going to be a model that's worth checking out for this year. So if you've got any further questions, any other comments or further awning models you'd like us to do a review on, please put them in the comments below. But thanks so much for watching.